The invitation had arrived 3 weeks earlier. Embossed cardstock announcing my parents' 40th wedding anniversary celebration. A formal dinner at their home, family only, dress code specified. My daughter had been excited, asking repeatedly what she should wear, practicing her table manners in our kitchen. She was 7 years old, bright-eyed and eager to please. She'd picked out a navy blue dress with white trim from her closet, insisting we press it carefully so it would look perfect. She'd even practiced sitting up straight, remembering how Grandma always commented on posture. We arrived exactly on time. The driveway was full of cars. My brother's luxury sedan and my sister's SUV taking up the spots closest to the house. I parked on the street, helping my daughter out of the back seat. She held a small wrapped gift she'd chosen herself. A photo frame with a picture of her and her grandparents from last summer. She'd used her own allowance to buy it, counting out dollar bills at the store with careful concentration. "Do you think they'll like it?" she asked as we walked up the stone pathway. "They'll love it," I assured her, though doubt already nagged at me. The front door was heavy oak, recently refinished. I'd paid for that too, though my parents didn't know I knew about it. My mother answered wearing pearls and a silk blouse that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Her smile was practiced, the kind she reserved for appearances rather than genuine welcome. "Come in. Everyone's already here." The dining room table was set for 8. My brother and his wife, my sister and her husband, my parents, and presumably 2 seats for my daughter and me. Crystal glasses caught the chandelier light. China plates sat at precise intervals. Everything looked like a magazine spread. My daughter's eyes widened at the formality. She'd been to family dinners before, but never anything quite this elaborate. "Go wash your hands," my mother instructed. "Bathroom down the hall." While my daughter was gone, my brother approached with a beer in hand. "Big production tonight, huh? When isn't it?" I replied quietly. My sister was already seated, checking her phone. Her husband talked with my father near the window, something about golf and business deals. The conversation had that comfortable quality of people who saw each other regularly, who existed in the same social circles. I'd always been slightly outside that circle. Different career path, different priorities, different life choices. It had never bothered me much, but lately the distance felt more pronounced. My daughter returned, her hands still damp from washing. She smiled at me, proud of following instructions. "Everyone take your seats," my mother announced, moving toward the head of the table. I guided my daughter toward the 2 empty chairs, but my mother's voice stopped us. "Actually, those seats are for your father's business partners. They're running late but should be here any moment." I looked at the table, counting seats again. 8 chairs. 8 place settings. Where should we sit? My mother's expression didn't change. "Well, there's the kitchen counter if you'd like. Or the living room couch. Wherever you're comfortable." My daughter's hand tightened around mine. She looked up at me, confusion replacing her earlier excitement. "You invited us to a family dinner," I said carefully. "Where there aren't enough seats? I assumed you'd understand. This is an important evening for your father. His partners are investing in his new venture. First impressions matter." My brother shifted uncomfortably. My sister continued staring at her phone. Their spouses made themselves busy examining the china patterns. "So we're not eating with the family?" My daughter's voice was small. My mother looked down at her and something flickered across her face. Not quite cruelty but close enough. "Oh, sweetheart. Of course you can eat. There's plenty of food. You just can't sit at the grown-up table tonight." "Where should she sit?" I asked, my voice flat. My mother gestured vaguely toward the corner of the dining room. "There's space over there. She can make herself comfortable." The corner she indicated was near the serving cart, beside a decorative plant. There was no chair, no table, just carpet and wall. My daughter looked at the spot, then at the formal table, then at me. Her lower lip trembled slightly, but she was trying hard to be brave. "You want her to sit on the floor?" I clarified. "It's not ideal, but it's just for tonight. She's young, she's flexible." My mother's tone suggested this was perfectly reasonable. "Real family eats at the table, you get the floor." Then she chuckled as if she'd made a joke. The sound of that laugh did something to me. It crystallized years of small slights, subtle dismissals. Moments when my choices were questioned and my daughter was treated as somehow less than her cousins. My daughter reached down and touched her dress, the one she'd been so excited to wear. The one she'd pressed carefully. The one she thought would make her look grown up enough for Grandma's fancy dinner. Everyone was watching now. The room had gone quiet except for the ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway. I knelt down to my daughter's level. "Sweetheart, go get your coat from the entry closet, okay? Are we leaving?" Her voice held hope and disappointment in equal measure. "In a minute. I need to talk to Grandma first." She nodded and walked toward the hallway, her footsteps soft on the hardwood floor. I stood up and looked at my mother. Really looked at her. The pearls, the silk blouse, the carefully styled hair. The house around us, the formal table, the crystal and china. All of it maintained by money I'd been providing for the past 5 years. "Real family doesn't need their child's money to survive," I said quietly. The words hung in the air like smoke. My mother's chuckle died. Her expression shifted, confusion replacing confidence. "What? You heard me." My father moved closer, his face suddenly alert. "Enough," he whispered, but there was warning in his tone, not authority. I didn't move. Didn't raise my voice. Just waited. My brother set his beer down. "What are you talking about?" "Ask them," I said, still watching my mother. "Ask them about their mortgage. About their property taxes. About their car payments and country club dues and all the appearances they maintain." My sister finally looked up from her phone. "What's going on?" My mother's face had paled. "This isn't the time or place." "No." I looked around the formal dining room. "When would be better? After you made my daughter eat on the floor while explaining she's not real family?" My father's whisper had been a warning, but he said nothing else. His silence confirmed everything. My brother stood up from his chair. "Does someone want to explain what's happening here?" I pulled out my phone, opening my banking app. The screen showed a history of transfers, regular as clockwork, spanning 5 years. Mortgage payments of $4,200. Tax payments of $1,200 quarterly. Insurance premiums of $800. Car payments for both vehicles. Country club dues. All going to my parents' accounts. Month after month, year after year. I turned the phone so my brother could see. His eyes widened as he scrolled. "This is what's happening. I've been paying for everything. The house. The cars. The lifestyle. All of it." My sister crossed the room to look at the screen. Her expression shifted from confusion to shock. "That's over $6,000 a month. $6,500 actually. Plus extra for property taxes quarterly." My mother finally found her voice. "You said you wouldn't tell anyone. We had an agreement." That agreement didn't include humiliating my daughter. My father's business demeanor cracked slightly. "We appreciate what you've done. But airing private financial matters in front of the whole family is inappropriate." "More inappropriate than making a 7-year-old eat on the floor at a family dinner?" My voice remained level, but the anger underneath was clear. "More inappropriate than laughing about it?" My brother was scrolling through the dates on my phone now, his expression darkening. "This goes back 5 years. 5 years of payments. Their adjustable rate mortgage ballooned," I explained. "They couldn't make the payments. They were going to lose the house. They asked for help. And you just paid everything?" My sister's tone held disbelief. "They're my parents." I said yes. My mother's carefully composed expression was crumbling. "We were going to pay you back. Once your father's business recovered." 5 years, my brother repeated. "That's almost $400,000. The number settled over the room like a weight. My sister's husband whistled softly. My brother's wife had stopped pretending to examine the china. "We didn't ask for charity," my father said, but his voice lacked conviction. "No, you asked for help. And I gave it. Every month, without fail, without complaint. I refinanced my own home. Took on extra projects. Worked weekends. All so you could keep this house and this lifestyle and these dinner parties." My mother's hands were shaking slightly. "You're embarrassing us." "I'm embarrassing you?" The laugh that escaped me was sharp. "You told my daughter she's not real family. You literally pointed at the floor." "It was just for tonight," she protested weakly. "Your father's business partners are more important than your granddaughter." "Yes, I understand." My daughter appeared in the doorway, her coat on, the wrapped gift still in her hands. She looked at the adults standing in various states of shock and confusion and seemed to understand that something significant had shifted. "Dad," she said softly. Coming, sweetheart. I took my phone back from my brother. With a few taps, I canceled every automatic transfer I'd set up. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, country club dues. All of it gone. What are you doing? My mother's voice pitched higher. What I should have done years ago. The next mortgage payment is due in 2 weeks. You'll need to figure out how to cover it. My father's face had gone red. Be reasonable. We can't suddenly come up with $6,500. Then I suggest you sell something. Cancel some memberships. Make adjustments. I looked at the formal table, the expensive china, the crystal glasses. Looks like you have plenty of assets to work with. The house, my mother said desperately. We'll lose the house. Maybe. Or maybe you'll figure out how to actually afford your lifestyle instead of pretending to. My brother was still staring at his phone, processing. My sister had sat down heavily in one of the formal chairs, looking stunned. You can't just cut us off, my father said, trying to regain control. We're family. Real family, I said, echoing my mother's words. Doesn't make children eat on the floor. I walked to where my daughter stood and took her hand. The wrapped gift was still in her other hand. Should I leave this? She asked, looking at the present. I looked at my mother, at the woman who'd laughed at the idea of my daughter sitting on the carpet while business partners got the good chairs. No, honey. Bring it with you. We'll find someone who deserves it. As we walked toward the front door, voices rose behind us. My brother demanding answers, my sister calculating numbers out loud, my parents trying to explain and justify and negotiate. The doorbell rang just as we reached the entry. I opened it to find 2 men in business suits. My father's partners, presumably, smiling and holding wine bottles. Evening, one of them said. Are we late? Not at all, I replied, stepping past them. Perfect timing, actually. My daughter and I walked to our car in silence. I helped her into her seat and saw that she was crying quietly, tears running down her face. Did I do something wrong? She asked. No, baby. Not at all. Grandma did. Why doesn't she like me? It's complicated. But it's not about you. It's about her. I started the car and pulled away from the house. In the rearview mirror, I could see the front door still open, chaos visible through the entryway. My phone started ringing immediately. My mother's name flashed on the screen, then my father's, then my brother's. I let them all go to voicemail. Where are we going? My daughter asked. How about that pizza place you like? The one with the arcade games. Her face brightened slightly. Really? Really? And you can wear your fancy dress. It deserves to be shown off at a place that appreciates you. She smiled then, a genuine smile that made everything worth it. My phone rang again. This time it was a number I didn't recognize. Probably my parents calling from another phone. I declined the call. The lesson I'd waited to teach wasn't for my parents, really. It was for my daughter. The lesson that her worth wasn't determined by where people told her to sit. That real family doesn't humiliate children to impress business associates. That appearances maintained through hidden support aren't worth maintaining at all. $400,000 over 5 years. I'd done the calculation before, of course. I'd known exactly how much of my life had gone into maintaining theirs. But somehow, seeing my daughter touch her dress and look at that corner of carpet made the cost finally feel real. The lessons were due, not just for my parents but for all of us. About what family actually means. About what's worth protecting and what needs to be let go. My daughter started humming in the back seat, her tears drying. She was resilient, thank goodness. Kids are. But I wondered what scars this night would leave, what lessons about family and worth she'd carry forward. But she'd remember this night. Remember being told to sit on the floor. Remember leaving instead. Remember that when it mattered most, someone stood up for her. And maybe years from now, that memory would help her recognize when someone was treating her as less than she deserved. That was worth more than any amount I'd sent to my parents' mortgage company. Worth more than the house they'd fought to keep. Worth more than the appearances they'd maintained. Worth more than the 40 years of marriage they were celebrating without us. We pulled into the pizza place parking lot. The neon lights were bright and welcoming. Through the windows I could see families at tables, kids running toward arcade games. The casual chaos of a place that didn't require pressed dresses or perfect posture. Come on, I said, opening her door. Let's go show off that dress. She took my hand and we walked inside together, leaving behind the formal dinners, the floor corners and the lessons finally learned.